This is the Titanium MIG170 welder from Harbor Freight. The Titanium MIG170 welder is a 240 volt welder that you can also use with a regular wall outlet. In today's video, I'm going to test the welding performance on 1/8 inch steel and 3/16 inch mild steel using the 120 volt input. I've already made a performance testing video for this welder for sheet metal and square tubing. I'll link to that video at the end of today's video. The shielding gas I'm using today is C25. I've got my gauges set to just under 25 CFM. The wire that I have in my machine is 30 thousandths or 0.08 millimeter solid steel wire. If you're wondering what this little thing is, that's the Easy View valve indicator. That lets me know when I've left my gas turned on. I'll leave affiliate links to some of the products in today's video, and if you use them, it'll help out the channel. My first weld today will be on this 1/8 inch thick mild steel bar. Let's take a look at the chart and we'll find a starting point for our welds today. Our wire thickness is 1/8 of an inch. Our shielding gas is C25. We're using 30 thousandths wire. We'll follow that over. So our wire speed is going to be 260. We're going to set the voltage at 18.5. To cut the bevels for the butt welds, I just used a flapper disc and an angle grinder. Here's a pro tip to save time. I use multiple grinders. Instead of wasting time changing attachments, I just grab a different grinder. Here I'm just letting the wire find the center of my bevel, and I'm just following it along, and I'm moving at a pretty good clip. You can see the light from my helmet is illuminating my work pretty good. Let's take a look at this weld, top and bottom. I'll clean it up with a wire wheel and we'll look at it again. There's the weld looking down from the top. Let's flip it over. There's the bottom side of the weld. Let's look at it from the end. All right, let me clean it up and we'll take another look at it. There's the top side all cleaned up. That's the weld with the settings from the machine. There's the bottom side. And let's get a look from the end. There's the end of the weld. I am not a professional welder. This is not a how to weld video. This just simply shows us what the settings are on the machine and what they do with the proper thickness of steel. And that's the result I got. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let's move on to 3/16. 3/16 inch mild steel is gonna push the limits of this machine on 120 volts, but let's give it a try. Looking at the chart here on the 120 volt side, 1/8 inch steel is the thickest that it goes for recommendations. We're using the C25. We have 30 thousandths wire. We follow that across, and 260 18.5 is the settings for the thickest steel recommendation. 3/16 is thicker. There's no recommendation, so we're gonna have to do some guessing. 260 was the recommendation for the 1/8 inch steel. Let's bump this up. Maximum is 275. Let's go 275. On the voltage, 18.5 was the recommendation. I'm gonna bump this all the way up to 20. Here you can see I was not able to finish the weld because the breaker blew on my circuit. So I've reset the breaker and I turned the machine off. I'm not going to finish the weld. We're going to take a look at it here. We'll take a look at it as is. We knew that we were pushing the limits on this machine. So here's the top of the weld before it's cleaned up. I'll clean it up with a wire wheel and we'll take a look at it. Let me flip it over and we'll take a look at the back. There's the back side of it. There's your first look at the back side. Let me clean it up with a wire wheel and we'll take one last look at it. Let's get in there and look at this weld. There's the end. That's the first thing I want to see. I want to see the penetration that I got. That's what we got looking from the bottom and from the end. Let's look down the top. There is my dimes I tried to stack up, and then that is where the breaker blew. So that's the length of the weld that I got. This is a 4-inch piece. Welding thicker material, that's the result I got with this welder. The 1/8 inch steel and the 3/16 using the 120 volt input on the Titanium MIG170 welder from Harbor Freight. The 1/8 inch steel seemed like it did a pretty good job to me. On the 3/16 steel, that was a little different story. We actually blew the breaker and we weren't able to finish the weld. But I think with the right bevel, you could probably do a pretty good job with 3/16 inch mild steel. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Be sure to check out my other videos for the Harbor Freight Titanium MIG170 welder. I'm glad you watched, and I hope you'll watch again.